everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom and I have just witnessed Ipswich Town 0, Middlesbrough 2 here at Portman Road. I'm less depressed than I was at half time, but certainly the first part of this game made for very harrowing watching. Here is what happened. Ipswich line up as expected-ish, obviously with Pennington sent off at Birmingham this past weekend. So Gherkin in goal, Donassian comes in for Pennington, and Ciala, Chambers, Knudsen. That's all fairly settled now. Skews and Chalobah is very settled. Ward goes to the right. Nolan keeps his place after his first goal. He's in the 10 position. Graham comes in for Gwion Edwards. So start for Jordan Graham. He's going to play down the left. Caden Jackson keeps his place. Up front, slight change of formation from Boro. I expected 3 at the back. They've got this incredibly watertight defence, but I assume Pulis looked at this and pretty much knew he was going to be up against one up front, and he could stick another man in midfield to match up there, and so he did. So Boro, Randolph in goal, a back 4, Shotton, Ayala, Flint and Friend, very sort of strong across the back there. Saville was the deepest of the centre midfielders, and it was Howson and Besic in front of him. Downing off to the right hand side, and Braithwaite to the left with Hugel up front, and I'm going to put a stronger light on. There we go. Let there be light. I've just got through the Middlesbrough team, so Pulis kind of matching up a little bit there, extra man in midfield. Pretty slow start for a championship game, not that normal frenetic pace. A sort of a long throw for Boro in the first 5 minutes, a corner for Ipswich, but both sides kind of sitting back a little bit. Thought it sort of suited Ipswich, that pace, because it would mean they could ease into the game, but unfortunately they did not allow themselves to do this. And with pretty much the first real meaningful attack of the game, Boro take the lead on 11 minutes. And if you ever want to see an example of how not to press as a team, this here is it. It's horrible, absolutely horrible. So the ball's forward for Boro towards the edge of the area. Skews breaks from the midfield to chase. Jackson goes with him. It's then popped in, and then Chalobah goes, but the rest of the team don't. The 2 wide players are still wide, so the entire centre of the midfield is left. Forgive me, I think it was Saville, knocks it round the corner. I think Chalobah feels he has to go because Skews has gone. When he knocks it round the corner, Besic then has like a hole the size of the Grand Canyon open to run into. He drives forward, the back 4 back off. He's got runners either side. He gets to the edge of the box. He takes a shot. Now this is where he does get a little bit lucky, because he takes the shot. I think it's Ciala dives in and blocks the first shot, but he's committed. Then it bounces back very fortuitously for Besic, but he can then step into the penalty area, open up his body, left foot, side foot it into the corner, round Gherkin. As I say, a little bit of luck in the end as the shot bounced for him, but you just can't press like that. You throw your 2 centre midfielders up the pitch at different times, not together. If we've learned anything from old Pep or Jurgen up in the higher echelons of the game, is that pressing has to be done in a very organised way, and to leave the entire middle of the pitch there, it was just baffling. And with this Middlesbrough team, the way they are with this watertight defence, they've only conceded 4 goals in 11 games now. The last thing you want is to give them an easy opening goal after 11 minutes in an away game. But not content with that, as Boro start to sit in, Ipswich are actually going to give them a horrible second goal as well. And I love Luke Chambers. He's done a lot for Ipswich, but this was totally his fault. He receives the ball. Knudsen moves forward into, left back wanting to receive the ball position. So you're left with just 2 guys at the back, one of them on the ball, but with cover. And Chambers, it's a simple, straight ball, and he just plays it straight into Down, and it's a pathetic pass. It's really, really, really poor from Chambers. Downing then picks it up, and we've seen this for years and years and years. We know what he's going to do. His close control is excellent. He dribbles. Chambers then backs off into the box. Here comes the sidestep. Hugel does well because he runs in, and I think he takes Donasian in with him, which may have just put Gherkin off, but Downing smashes it into the goal, and it's just desperately, desperately poor. You've set up your 10 games without a win. You're playing a team with a watertight defence, and without having to break any kind of sweat, you're 2-0 down in 15 minutes from a bit of bad pressing and, bad team shape, and then just a terrible pass by your captain, and you're 2-0 down. And it's almost like, well, that's that. The first win's not coming tonight. It's done after 15 minutes. Desperately, desperately poor from Ipswich. We've found lots of mitigating circumstances in games when they've come short, but you cannot play like that in the opening to a game. Really, really poor. It nearly got worse. Chambers, this is obviously in his head. It's a horror show. 17 minutes. He just slices the ball up in the air. It's a basic clearance. Up it goes. Puts the pressure back on the team. The midfielder all pushed in. It falls to Friend, who drives it left-footed from the left-hand corner of the box, and Gherkin's down well to make the save. From the next phase, Howson shoots over. Ipswich totally in shock, and it's almost fortunate that this is Tony Pulis we're dealing with, who will play the long game. He's not interested in glitzy football. He's interested in 3 points. He's got them, and Boro did not go for the jugular. They just sat back and said, this team's shell-shocked. We pretty much already won the game. And not a lot happens. The stadium goes down. Boro sit in nicely. It's arm's length stuff. Until 41 minutes, nice work down the right. Donasian, loopy cross. Knudsen arrives at the back post. Loopy header equally. Onto the roof of the net. And 41 minutes, Ipswich have their first attempt on goal. Not good. Donasian throws to Chalobah on 44. Drives to the right wing. Driven cross here. Jackson arriving, and Randolph gathers. I'm clutching at straws for Ipswich chances here. Injury time in the first half. Howson floats in the free kick. Flint up on the back stick. Ayala heads over. And it's half time. Oh my goodness. Depressing stuff, really was. I'm trying to find a witty way of saying it. And the best I can do is that Boro didn't have to start the car, let alone put it in first gear, let alone get into second gear to pretty much win that game and give themselves a 2-0 lead with that defence. Thought Chalobah was fairly industrious and maybe give him a vague pass. I thought Jackson up front, which we'll get to in a minute, put himself about and worked fairly hard. Otherwise, the team, it really, really didn't work. Low on confidence. Boro playing with the chest puffed out. Ipswich, as soon as the first goal goes in, stadium silent. Bad state of affairs, really, that first half. Really, really bad. Half time. Jackson, who I thought did all right, comes out. So he's substituted at half-time. Straight swap for Sears. Jordan Graham comes off. He was quiet, but it's hard for me to really single out people. I suppose Chambers culpable for the goal, but the team was just so bad in the first half that what are you going to say? Well, who was better, So, yeah, Graham comes out and Edwards comes in. Ward then swaps sides. He goes left. Edwards goes right. And I think Boro basically were going to say in the second half, we'll sit in, we're going to win 2-0, we don't think you can score against us. And that was going to be the pattern. It's laid back to Donasian on 46. A lovely first time cross from him. Nolan arriving, can't get anything on the header, just, kind of strong defending there. Didn't win the header, but blocked out there. Nolan, he doesn't get anything on it. Sears fed into the inside left position. Great run by Sears. Engages the defender. I think it was Ayala. Takes him on. He's on his left foot and he shoots just over. Good play by Sears there. Crowd very enthusiastic about Sears behind the goal there. Chalobah whips one across. Ward can't quite get there. This is 58 minutes now, and the pattern is that Ipswich are putting crosses into the box not from the byline, from out on the edges of the area, and 1/8 chances, quarter chances, not really even half chances. They're at arm's length here, even though territory is being conceded a little bit by Boro. No real chances conceded. They're going to wake up though here. Besic free kicking from the left. Ayala free header here from about 8 yards out. It's going in the corner. Skews off the line. It then falls to Hugel, who spins, prods it towards goal. And I think it Skews again with a last-ditch clearance. Great stuff. As I say, Boro wake up. We're on 62 now. Downing down the right again. His first cross gets blocked. Absolutely brilliant second cross. He turns around and half volleys at first time. Catches the entire Ipswich defence out. Hugel is poor from him. He's 8 yards out. Middle of the box. Big hulking centre forward like him. Doesn't get the header on target over. Engineers it. Poor finish. Great play from Downing. Danassian and Hugel tangle in the box. We got one of these very dramatic no penalty things from the referee. Friend then smashes one just wide. This is all in the space of about 2.5 minutes. Hugel then in the next phase of the attack goes one-on-one. They're breaking Ipswich's lines all over the place here, Boro, for this little period. Goes one-on-one with Chambers, shifts it out of his feet and shoots wide right-footed. So Boro could have got the third there. I think maybe the header was all she wrote for Hugel, because the Sombalonga comes in for 64. So Pulis even, he's leaving his best striker to, the game's already won when he's putting him on. McNair then comes in for Braithwaite. So I think they're at Hull. No, they've been to Hull. I don't know who. No, Leeds are at Hull. Don't know who Boro have got on the weekend, but certainly Pulis starting to think about that now. Edwards, nice dribble on 71, dribbles inside from the right. Poked out by the fullback, falls to Chalobah. He's on the corner of the box. He strikes it right-footed. It's going in the corner. Randolph gets down, makes a good save with the right hand down there. Closest Ipswich got probably all game. That good effort. Now in 75 minutes, something positive for Ipswich. Andre Dozzell, we haven't seen him since he got injured on the opening day of the previous season. Would have been August 2017. We haven't seen him play. He's been eased back in by Paul Hurst. Some people think too patiently, but now we've seen him, I'm sure that'll be forgotten. He comes in on 75 minutes for John Nolan to a rapturous round of applause, and he goes into the number 10 position, so we're not sure how he's going to be used, whether it's deep line playmaker, but into the number 10 spot for Dozzell there. Really lovely to see him back. Danassian on 78, another lovely cross in by him from the right. Knudson's arriving, and it's all the way over and out there. McQueen comes in for Besic, who scored the opening goal on 81. Ipswich get a bit on the back foot here for the last 5 minutes. Poor header by Chambers at the back. There's two men over here. They switch the play. Chambers is chasing them down and standing them up again. The first shot's blocked, and forgive me, I think, was it Saville arrived? No, he would have been deeper. I don't know who was arriving, but Chambers makes the second block there. Does quite well from initially his header being swallowed up there. Long throw in on 86 by Knudsen, cleared to the edge. Falls perfectly for Edwards. He smashes it at goal. It's deflected wide. It looked like it was going on target. And when the ref points for the goal kick, you know it's come off an Ipswich player. And that really sums up your day and your winless season. McNair, beautiful cross from him. Last action of the game, really. No, it's going to be another chance, actually. Sombalonga is inches from putting that one in at the back post. Danassian on 93. Lovely cross by him. Again, nobody in the box there. Free. There she goes. Oh, well, I've calmed down a bit from that first half. The first 15 minutes was just a team with rock bottom confidence. How they managed to transpire to give Middlesbrough the game in the first 15 minutes is beyond me. It was really poor and really quite depressing. I think there's going to be a bit of a sense from Ipswich fans that Boro perhaps, if it had been a different team, a more, what's the word without insulting Boro, who won easily, a more front foot attacking intense team, that could have been gnarly in the first half. 3-4, 5-0 by half time, the way it felt like it was going. But Pulis has his strategy. He wants that clean sheet, and frankly, why should he come out and attack? We gave him 2 goals in 15 minutes. They took them both, and we all knew it was game over. Some signs in the second half, but the mitigating factor is Boro have the game won. I think Sears put in a bit of a shift in the second half. Donacien appears to have a good cross when he gets forward, so some encouragement there. And I thought Chalobah took some responsibility. He loves to receive the ball in tight spots, does Chalobah, and tried to drive the team forward. But wow, really not looking good for Ipswich. I've found positives in a lot of the failures to win. Not really today. That's 11 games without a win. If Marcus Evans is going to act on this the way some think he should, I wouldn't have thought that with 3 days notice before Swansea he would do that then, but we'll see what happens with regards to the Swansea game. Then it's the international break, and it'll be a very interesting time as to what's going to happen with Marcus Evans and with Paul Hurst. Hard for me to give too much of an opinion on that until I know what happens at Swansea. But for the first time today in that first half, I looked into the future and it looked quite bleak. I think, I don't really know how else to put it. Not much sense of... I know Boro are good, but Boro did not have to play well to win that game. It was the old analogy of the older brother. The younger brother's charging at him and he's just holding his head while the younger brother is running it. It wasn't pretty. I'd be very interested in other people's opinions on, you know, what Evans might do with regards Hurst. I'm going to reserve judgment until we see what happens at Swansea. Hey, if they lose heavily at Swansea, then you know what the clamour will be. If they get the first win against Swansea, then will people look forward that way? We shall see. In terms of Middlesbrough, I hate to say, I don't think I've learned that much about Middlesbrough than I didn't know already. They didn't have to play well to win this game. They rested their best striker. They matched up. They won easily. They're very, very solid. Flint and Ayala at the back. Looks like a very good partnership in terms of getting you up. Saville's got the experience from Millwall last season. Downing gives you that bit of quality. But really, Boro, that was an easy 3 points. They'll have much harder games. So I think Leeds were winning, so Boro will be back into second with Leeds having won and West Brom playing tomorrow. So Boro certainly look good for one of those top 3 positions. Which one depends on whether they can get the balance right between defence and attack and maybe score a few more goals. But they look so comfortable tonight. I can't say Boro were amazing because they didn't have to be. Get your comments in. Ipswich fan, let me know on Hurst. Where is this going? Boro fan, what are the expectations for the season? What do you need to do to secure a top 2 place as opposed to a playoff place last season? Give me a thumbs up on the video. I know it's been a slightly depressing one. Follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom. And what would really help me out the most, if you subscribe to the channel, so much content. Be doing a championship review after the next round of matches tomorrow night. And then for my sins, I'll be going to Swansea on Saturday, and then we can have a rest from this slightly depressing saga. Over and out. Good night.